A group of Russian soldiers resting inside an abandoned house came under a Ukrainian drone strike. A Russian soldier spotted on the Pavlovsk front was targeted by an FPV drone. The operation was carried out by the Worm Busters unit of Ukraine's 414th UAS Brigade, a component of Maguia's birds. A Ukrainian MiG-29 deployed GBU-62 precision-guided munitions on structures where Russian assault units were positioned. The footage was released by the pilot known as Air Fighter. The strike resulted in significant casualties among Russian personnel. A Ukrainian soldier launched a 120mm mortar shell toward a basement sheltering Russian soldiers. The strike resulted in no reported survivors. Russian soldiers were observed moving toward the front line in the Avdiivka area. Their apparent lack of coordination and discipline in the combat zone was notable. Throughout the summer, a substantial number of newly deployed Russian reinforcements have arrived at the Ukrainian front. A Russian Ural truck and a D-30 howitzer were neutralized by the Ukrainian 422nd UAS Battalion Luftwaffe in the Kamyansk direction of southern Ukraine. A Ukrainian FPV drone intercepted a Russian Mavic carrying ammunition using a net-based interception system. The deployed net successfully disabled the Russian drone, and the onboard ammunition detonated upon impact. The battle for Chase continues. Ukraine's 24th Mechanized Brigade launched a high-explosive FPV drone strike on a Russian trench. The explosion completely destroyed the position. The second strike was directed at a military communication antenna that had been concealed within a tree. Ukrainian fiber-optic FPV drones conducted a precision strike on a Russian military encampment located deep within a forested area in the Lyman direction. The operation was executed by the Signum Battalion. The camp contained ammunition, food supplies, and various military equipment. The initial strike targeted an underground shelter constructed beneath the site. The second drone strike focused on vehicles that had been camouflaged and concealed within the camp. Despite their strategic placement, the Russian vehicles were detected by skilled Ukrainian drone operators and successfully engaged. On the Kostiantynivka axis, Ukraine's U.S. Regiment Phoenix identified and neutralized a Russian Tu-S-1 Gvozdika self-propelled howitzer using an FPV drone strike. Following the successful strike, an advancing military vehicle was also engaged by the drone. 3 high-capacity Russian Black-Eye drone jamming systems located in Bryansk, under Russian control, were disabled by Ukrainian forces. 6 additional Russian UAVs were neutralized through the efforts of the 1129th Anti-Aircraft Missile Regiment. With your continued support, 2 Lancets, 3 Molnias, and 1 Zala were intercepted before they could endanger Ukrainian forces in the Prosov direction. This achievement underscores the increasing capability of Ukraine's air defense systems. A focused response against advanced Russian UAVs such as these plays a crucial role in influencing the dynamics on the battlefield. Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade conducted a special operation to disable a strategically important bridge in the Zaporizhzhia region, a key crossing point. Multiple charges were placed on the bridge's supporting columns to impede the advance of Russian forces and gain critical time. Utilizing an FPV drone, the bridge was successfully brought down from a remote location. In the village of Univka in the Sumy region, 2 Russian soldiers entered a civilian area without authorization and moved toward a local resident's garden. At that time, Ukrainian Armed Forces aerial reconnaissance units stationed nearby were actively monitoring the surroundings using drones. Shortly after entering the garden, the Russian soldiers initiated hostile activity. They took positions around the house and were assessed as preparing to engage from within the civilian area. However, this movement was being monitored in real time. Given the urgency of the situation, Ukrainian forces immediately relayed the coordinates to FPV, first-person view, loitering drone operators. Targeting commenced. As soon as the sound of the first FPV drone was detected, the Russian soldiers appeared to panic. They attempted to conceal themselves in the garden but were forced to withdraw shortly thereafter. They abandoned the area due to the effects of the detonation. A soldier from a specialized unit known as Predator, operating under the Ukrainian police force, was engaged in clearing opposing positions. Movement was detected within a shelter. Ukrainian personnel first deployed a grenade into the narrow entrance of the structure, resulting in a significant blast. Familiar with the internal layout, the soldiers followed up with targeted fire at the entrance, aiming to fully secure the position and eliminate any remaining threat. Thick black smoke was observed rising from the shelter. Ukrainian soldiers proceeded with extreme caution, determined to ensure the area was fully secured. In the final stage, additional munitions were placed inside the shelter to guarantee the complete neutralization of any remaining threat. This approach left no possibility for opposing forces to remain concealed within the structure. A Russian artillery tractor was identified by reconnaissance drones. It had reportedly halted in an attempt to conceal the accompanying artillery system. At that moment, a Ukrainian FPV drone approached the opposing vehicle. The initial impact occurred near the tractor's engine compartment, resulting in a powerful detonation. A second FPV drone then targeted the artillery system directly. It approached with precision and made contact near the barrel. Following this strike, small flames began to appear on the vehicle and its surrounding equipment. Ukrainian forces then deployed a third loitering munition drone in a steep descent from above. The operator executed a focused strike on the hull of the opposing vehicle, causing significant additional damage. Shortly afterward, the Nembai, identified as the enemy's tow truck artillery vehicle, caught fire, with large flames engulfing it following the explosion. Thick smoke gradually enveloped the target, reducing it to smoldering wreckage. Observation drones monitored the entire destruction sequence in real time. The timely identification of the system by Ukrainian forces also helped prevent potential hostile actions. F-7 type drones were employed in this operation. These FPV drones are specially modified first-person view loitering munitions used by Ukraine on the battlefield. Known for their high maneuverability, they are particularly effective against mobile targets. Drone operators from the Falcon Squad, part of the Ukrainian Army's 57th Mechanized Brigade, carried out a precision strike to neutralize opposing forces using the underside of a bridge as a shelter. They then successfully maneuvered into a position targeting a location where Russian personnel were reportedly taking cover inside a building. The Russian personnel appeared to panic upon spotting the FPV drone in close proximity. The drone operators executed their strike with such precision that it left the opposing forces visibly stunned. This is due to their ability to navigate through even the smallest openings, allowing them to carry out highly accurate and effective strikes. A Ukrainian FPV drone is closely pursuing a Russian soldier, who quickly takes cover inside a building. Moments later, the drone delivers a powerful strike, severely damaging the structure. In the aftermath, nearby soldiers begin to retreat in apparent panic, as the intensity of the operation escalates. The Russian soldiers quickly attempted to take cover in nearby buildings. However, their movements were promptly detected by Ukrainian reconnaissance drones, which continued to monitor the area with precision. Seconds later, an FPV drone executed a precise strike, causing debris from the targeted building to scatter across the area. A follow-up attack by a second FPV drone struck the adjacent structure, leading to a partial collapse. The situation left the opposing soldiers with no viable route of escape. A third FPV drone was also directed toward the area. With precise maneuvers, it successfully targeted and incapacitated one of the enemy soldiers attempting to flee the scene. The final strike on the last remaining enemy soldier was even more intense. An FPV drone equipped with high-impact payloads targeted the building where the infantryman had taken cover. The structure was completely destroyed in the explosion, effectively neutralizing the soldier inside. This is the Ukrainian FPV drone unit, Maker's Birds, detecting opposing forces moving in light vehicles. The unit is closely tracking their advance. Mine had been previously placed in the area, and as the convoy enters the zone, detonations begin. Confusion spreads within the convoy as Russian soldiers attempt to retreat rapidly in their vehicles. FPV loitering drone operators then begin pursuing the retreating infantry. Within a short time, the FPV drones start engaging the enemy personnel. However, a motorcyclist and an infantryman mounted on an ATV from the opposing convoy continue their escape. Reconnaissance drones maintain close surveillance, tracking their movements in real time. Shortly thereafter, the ATV strikes a mine, bringing it to a halt. The motorcyclist is then targeted by a loitering drone, resulting in a powerful explosion that neutralizes the infantryman. While the Ukrainian forces were conducting reconnaissance in the area, they identified new enemy positions. Once again, opposing forces were advancing toward the front lines using light vehicles. However, their advance was quickly halted by FPV loitering drones, which engaged the targets with precision and effectiveness. Here is one of those moments. Russian soldiers are seen advancing on motorcycles equipped with sidecars. Suddenly, an FPV loitering drone appears in their path. A powerful explosion follows, resulting in the neutralization of one of the soldiers. The remaining two are visibly stunned by the sudden impact. Another opposing infantryman is seen advancing rapidly on a motorcycle. A Ukrainian-operated loitering drone launches a swift and precise strike on the moving target. The infantryman continues forward briefly but is ultimately unable to proceed due to the impact of the drone's intervention.